y'all, it's Kay from the Literary Apothecary and welcome back to my channel. Hey y'all, so today we're going to be talking about the Cicero Trilogy by Robert Harris. This is, of course, the trilogy of books that we read for a read-along on Alannette Library of Alexandria's channel. Includes Imperium, which is basically like the start of Cicero's political career. Lustrum / Conspirata, depending on which version of the book you got and where you're at. This is the height of Cicero's career and also the price that comes with it, or the price that comes with power specifically. And Dictator, the third and final book. Can Cicero actually retire peacefully? And Caesar loses it, and we've got gang politics in ancient Rome, basically. That's a very, very quick, spoiler-free kind of summary of each three of the books. The series as a whole, I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. One of the books had 5 stars, one had 4.5 stars, and one had 4 stars. Descending in that order from book 1 to book 3. That kind of took a step down each time I made it through a book. Obviously, my favorite book in the series was Imperium. This is where, so I first started reading Imperium right after I read Augustus by John Williams 2 times in a row, and it kind of got me into that ancient Rome mindset. Of course, the Cicero Trilogy takes place before Augustus, but it still had that same feel to it, so I was ready for this book to begin. In Imperium, of course, we meet Cicero and Tiro. Tiro is kind of the narrator of this book, is Tiro's memoirs, if you will, his journaling of his time with Cicero. And we meet them when Cicero is on the rise. We see what makes Cicero, and you see what he is willing to go through for his career, but still keeping his same morals and values. What I loved about this series is Cicero's zingers. He's got so many amazing one-line mic drop moments in his speeches. They were absolutely fantastic and 100% the highlight of this series. My favorite part of it was Cicero and Tiro's friendship that developed over the years. Tiro is Cicero's slave. He's been his slave, I believe, if I remember correctly, since they were really young, and they grew to be friends and respect each other in their different roles, and I just loved seeing this friendship develop over the books and over the years. The pacing in the first 2 books was absolutely fantastic. The third book felt really rushed, but we'll get to that in just a minute. And also, the emotion in the writing of these books, especially the first 2, you felt that emotion while you're reading these books. You felt all of the emotions that our characters were going through. The excitement, the exhilaration, the fear, the terror, the anger, the disgust, all of the emotions I felt reading this series. But we can't talk about the Cicero Trilogy without talking about the third book, Dictator. For me, this one felt distant from the first 2 books, and I learned that Robert Harris kind of took a break. I believe it was between the first 2 books and writing the third book. So that explains a little bit, but just the writing style felt distant for me. It felt very different than the first 2 books. The emotions in it felt a bit flat. It wasn't as heightened as the first 2 books. The first part of book 3 was really good. The second part just fell flat. It felt rushed. It just felt like these are all the events that happened towards the end of Cicero's career, or at the end of Cicero's career, and this is how he responded, instead of the kind of dramatization of these political happenings going on in ancient Rome that we got in the first 2 books. Now, you might be wondering, is it worth it? I say, if you love ancient Rome history, definitely worth it. If you enjoy historical political fiction, I'd say yes, it's worth it. It's even worth reading the third book to get the full story. I think if you know ancient Rome history, you will appreciate this even more, and you'll be able to follow book 3 in a better way than I was, because I didn't know a lot about ancient Rome history. I knew, Caesar's assassination and, what follows after that because of reading Augustus. But that's basically my knowledge of ancient Roman history. So book 3, because it was so rushed and written in a way that was just kind of event after event after event after event, it was hard for me to follow without having that knowledge beforehand. But if you already have that knowledge, definitely worth it, and highly recommend the Cicero Trilogy if you're a historical fiction fan, Roman history, ancient Roman history fan, historical political fiction fan, if that's even a thing. Did I just make that up? I don't know. Yes, this review is a little bit rushed because it's been a little bit since I've read this series, and my brain has been in an absolute fog today. Like, I've barely been able to stay awake. So I'm sorry for this rushed review, but my reviews going forward hopefully won't be as rushed. Let me know in the comments below if you've read this series before. What was your favorite book in this series, and what was your favorite moment in this series? As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. Keep reading, and I love y'all to the moon and back. Bye.